The new meme within this market is the Gaussian channel turning green for the first time in 4 years. And what does that mean for price action? Well, that is the topic of today, of course, as well as a few other things. In fact, actually a rather large one today, as I do expect that things do begin to move probably on today, probably on tomorrow, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, that's when this probably gets more exciting again. Anyways, welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a nice little Monday morning over here as we get prepared for this new week, new opportunities, you know, all that good stuff. And let's just jump right into the charts, starting off with the topic of today, which is the weekly Gaussian channel. Yes, indeed, it has turned green for the first time in literally 4 years. Fresh, that is. I'm referencing this one over here from August of 2019. And I think, let me just pull back a little bit more. Yep, I'm referencing this one over here in August 2019, where it went from red to green, and Bitcoin was on the tail end of a pretty impressive rally throughout that. So ultimately, is this a good thing or not? Long term, yes, it's a good thing, obviously, assuming that you're on the bullish side. It's always funny that we assume, or the bias is it's good, meaning that's bullish, but bad, meaning it's bearish. It can be neutral, obviously. Anyways, that's another topic for another time. We'll get into psychology at a later date, I guess. But in this case, we can see that there's been 3 prior times in Bitcoin's history, actually. The first time over here was in 2011, of course, and when the Gaussian channel turned green for the first tick on the weekly, Bitcoin came down, tested it, nice reaction, bounced up, upwards and onwards, basically over the next, couple of years, actually. In this case over here, this was a pretty significant bounce off the top end of it to kind of get that rally started off, 63% plus on that first move. Anyway, same thing over here, actually, in 2016 as well. Gaussian channel turns green, price action comes down, tests around the top side of it, and then boom, big, massive, girthy green dildo party to the upside. In this case, about 110% move over the course of the next few months, followed by more hundreds of percents. And then, of course, we do see this one over here from 2019, where Bitcoin did come back down, test the top side of the Gaussian channel like the other ones have, did have that initial bounce, a pretty significant bounce. I think that this was off the back of some sort of China news, who knows, and then coughed that one up right quick, and then led into the old Rona dump a few months later, I do believe. So bit of an outlier situation over here, but still can't discount this portion over here because this, coronavirus was not a thing over here. Did I just say the C word? Oh, fuck, man. This video. Who knows who might even see it? Maybe no one. Maybe no one. Anyways, going over to the current trajectory, we can see that, yes, indeed, it has turned green for the first tick. The top side of the Gaussian channel is now officially at 28,300, one of the major numbers that we've been kind of spitting out on this channel for quite some time now as, a nice basing region. But I would say that just because price action comes down around there doesn't guarantee that that bounce is going to hold. Very likely to bounce doesn't imply that it's destined to hold for forever. Again, I harken back to this example over here. So what does that create? It creates an interplay, and this actually creates another piece of the puzzle that we've been looking at for the past the past month and a half now, in the sense that, hey, if Bitcoin does lose, let's just call it 28,000 bucks, easier to say. At that point, very likely Bitcoin comes down at least to just below 27,000 bucks, maybe even lower than that over time. So I would be looking at that. Until then, top side of the Gaussian channel should be looked at as a bouncy region. Can that bounce lead towards continuation towards the upside? Yes, absolutely. But what we really want to see is we want to see a very convincing bounce back above 31,000 bucks. At that point, yeah, looks pretty damn good from the Bulaw's perspective, and this rally can continue onwards and upwards, probably closer to, at that point, I expect it would probably actually move its way up to 39,000 bucks, but I didn't say that. Anyways, yes, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let me just bring my notes back up over here, and we can go down to the daily time frame, go over to CME, or actually spot price action. We'll do the trick on this one as well. Get rid of the Gaussian channel, and we can go over some major moving averages here. So first things first, we do see that the daily jewel is actually about to get another downside signal. And these downside signals that do happen within this region are actually typically the pretty damn good ones. It's supported by DMI, as you can see in the background. And while the signal is not fully confirmed just yet, so again, I want to reiterate this, it's not fully confirmed just yet. If we do see today close with that dark blue color right here, that's going to imply that the next, the next volatile move likely does try to the downside. High probability in this case. So that's why I would say that even though, the weekly Gaussian channel being green is generally good for the long-term Bulaw's, doesn't mean that short term, relatively speaking, we can see greater pullback from this. Also, just looking at major moving averages here, Bitcoin kind of getting wedged into this region. It's kind of hard to love, especially as long as it's below 29,550. So that's kind of my line in the sand for the blue laws right now. As long as Bitcoin's below there, it's in a weak position, more likely to break down. And especially if we do see the jewel the jewel in that case, signal dark blue, the next few days still going to be more down likely than up, if that makes sense. Anyways, okay, so we've gotten through that. We can go check out the HPDR ranges yet again. And what do you know? The bottom side of the 12-hour range coming in around that low $28,000 number. So we see that popping up many a time. And what do you know? On the other side, we do see that technically speaking, it doesn't mean the average of the current range is coming in at 29,550. So I would go as far to say that, hey, back above 29,550, it's probably going to be good enough for, I don't know if I should say necessarily that, but it would put Bitcoin back in a strong position, let's say. I would go as far to say that it would be a very early or a decent warning signal that Bitcoin is going to bust out through the top side of this range. And this will essentially be a bullish reaccumulation in this case. Until then, however, again, as long as Bitcoin's below 29,550, weak position, more likely to break down than try for some upside. Anyways, moving on now, we can go check out stochastic momentum and starting off with the weekly. Again, continuing with the downside as long as Bitcoin's below 30,750. 5-day time frame, same thing, 31,240 closing tonight for CME. 2-day time frame, also heading down below 30,800. Not great for the BULAs. Daily time frame will be actually heading up on CME as long as Bitcoin's above 28,950. Currently trading about $200 above that as of right now. So not super convincing, but it is in there. Again, this is all within the context of extreme lows on volatility, but I would say that would be sort of the next short-term daily pivot. If you see Bitcoin close below there, yeah, very likely we start to see those momentum signals pick up alongside volatility and at least move down to low 28s, which doesn't sound like all that much, but granted that Bitcoin's been going essentially sideways for the last almost 7 weeks now. It is. 12-hour time frame also headed down as long as Bitcoin is below 29,350. 6-hour time frame also headed down as long as Bitcoin's below 29,350. 4-hour time frame going to be heading down if Bitcoin closed below 29,140, which is currently trading about $15 above as of right now. An hourly time frame is going to be freshly turning down below 29,157, which Bitcoin's trading $2 below as of this exact moment. So again, I would be saying that short-term downside still more likely here. If we go check out traditional markets, we can see that NASDAQ coming off of last week's bearish engulfing dildo right here, probably does trade at least a little bit further to the south. Somewhere around like 15,250, I think is extremely likely. Maybe even all the way down to the 55 here at $15,000. So, these marks typically are correlated. This one actually already has that downside signal on the daily jewel, although it's not in the same exact posture as what we do see on Bitcoin, but is it going to be good enough? I suspect probably yes. So yeah, these markets being correlated and NASDAQ kind of cooling off after a pretty phenomenal run to the upside. Bitcoin didn't really join in the last few tries to the upside over the past 6-7 weeks now. So not the best signal right there, but at the end of the day, I always do want to be favoring the chart at hand. And even with Bitcoin, when we go over here, 12-hour time frame, still from last week, I do want to reiterate this because it's still very much valid here and viable. That hidden bearish divergence that Bitcoin ended on Friday with that's still in play, especially with the silver cross to the downside on this time frame as well. So I would still be saying, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, probably, going to be favoring the bear odds, meaning that if there is going to be push, probably happens within that few day spread. If Bitcoin kind of survives throughout that time and continues to hold these lows, at that point, you're going to start to see me flip around and start to say, hey, it's had so many fucking chances to break down, it just hasn't done it, so it probably tries to the upside. So I think that's where I'll leave today's video. More or less a continuation of the overall analysis, this very long thread of analysis that we've been having ever since Bitcoin got into this range. However, finally, potentially looking for a resolution this week, I do believe. And yeah, I think it's a good place for me to be leaving off. I did forget to do the old shill for Bybit. They got it's our show for the Jewel Light. You can get it for free. You can get it for free if you go if you check out the link, if you follow the directions in the link description below. Holy shit, man! I haven't done it so long. I forgot how to say it, but yeah. So there's your free shill of the day. I'll end on that. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Tuesday.